Welcome back to the podcast. A day late for good reason. Had a lot going on this weekend, but we're here. And oh my God, this episode is literally something that I think is causing so many people to be depressed with their lives or to think that the world is going to absolute shite. And I can't believe it. And I actually had an experience of this culture which is taking the world by storm at the moment. It is this woke culture of associating absolutely anything with something negative. Sometimes you have to be so careful with the words that come out of your mouth because you're worried that someone could attach that to something completely irrelevant. And I wrote an email about it the other day. If you're on my email list, obviously I love you. If you're not, look in the description box and you can get my daily emails. This is if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're on Spotify and Apple, obviously, just go onto my stories on Insta and you'll find me there. But this woke culture of associating everything, I posted a video of me as a personal trainer saying that an incline walk in a gym is a waste of time. And as a personal trainer, I do believe it is a waste of time. The reason being is because if you're inside of a gym, there is exercise that is going to be much more beneficial to you to do through your hour rather than walking on a treadmill. It's as if I was a chef, right? And you ate microwave meals every single night, as a chef, I'm probably going to advise you that's not the best food to eat. But when I said that, excuse me if I do mispronounce her name, when I said that walking on a treadmill is a waste of time, someone connected that with the murder of Sarah Everard, which was Wayne Couzens was the murder of the police officer, and obviously that is horrific. But how can you go from walking on a treadmill to a murder? And I think this is what is so wrong with society today. For example, there are things that are, in my opinion, are just so black and white. They're so obvious to the world. Like, for example, I have absolutely nothing and no problem. I have absolutely no problem with anyone's sexuality, their race, what they choose to do with their body, so on and so forth. So I want to put that out there before someone gets offended. But you've got transgender women now competing in women's sports. I'm not a woman, right? But I also know that in men's sport, for me, I was nowhere near good enough to hit the top level. Nowhere near good enough. And the amount of hours I was training, probably rugby at one point, twice a week, playing at the weekend, if I wasn't training 3 times a week. Yeah, then add on all of the training as in weights that I was doing. So there's a lot to go with trying to get to a decent level within a sport. As a woman, which I'm not, I need to state that again, you work your whole life to be at the top of your game. Yeah, you work your whole life to win that Olympic medal, play for that football team, or compete in fighting. Biologically, men are stronger than women. That is not me saying men are better than women, right? Biologically, men have an advantage over women. And if you think I'm a prick for saying that, how many transgender men play in men's sports? At a professional level, 0. Because they're not at the level, yeah? But for a man, and for people to think that it's okay for a man to change their identity, which is absolutely fine, and be a transgender woman, but then compete in transgender sports and take away opportunities of winning things that women have devoted their entire lives to achieve, how is that not clear as day that it's wrong? And as I say, we live in this woke society where everyone wants to jump on, you can't say that, that is absolutely scandalous, that you can have that opinion. It is an opinion, but in my opinion, for the transgender people in sports, it's factual. How can you rob someone that's devoted their whole life working towards a goal that is only in their biological discipline to now have that removed? Another one, and I said this in my email, the woke culture, things like Bar Bar Black Sheep, it's a fucking nursery rhyme that I grew up with, right? And now people are attaching that to racism, and now it can't be used in nurseries or whatever because it's racist. No, it's a bloody nursery rhyme, and sheep can be white or black. It's not racist. Come on, wake up. And the problem why I think this affects so many people's mental health is because, one, they think that they need to have an opinion on everything, and not just an opinion. For example, for me, I don't believe transgender women should participate in women's sport. But if a transgender woman did participate in women's sport, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to get stressed. It's not going to ruin my day. I'm just going to think that's a load of bollocks. Whereas people now, they have such strong opinions on these woke agendas that they only see life through shit coloured lenses, and everything looks awful because you can attach absolutely anything to a negative. And in my opinion, and the way I like to live my life is, I think it's amazing to have opinions. I think you should voice your opinions, but I also think care less. Care less, because ultimately you can say, like I say with my treadmill example, you're attaching a bit of content about walking on a treadmill to someone being murdered. Like, you can attach anything to anything. And if you go through life being part of this woke society where anything that comes out of someone's mouth is going to offend you, then you might as well be a recluse, in my opinion. Because, as I say, if a chef turned around and said to you that eating a microwave meal probably ain't the best way to go about eating every single day of your life, are you going to get offended by that? But me as a PT saying walking on a treadmill is a waste of time, then is getting associated with murders. So for me, in this episode, if you're part of this woke culture, think about what you're actually getting out of it. You're just winding yourself up about anything that can come out of a human's mouth. That's the reality of it. And unfortunately, in my opinion, that is the worst way to live. And you can say it's ignorance, but the reality is, no, it isn't. It's not ignorance at all. It's just, I'm not gonna dive into getting myself flustered over shit that really is only made up in your head. Like, as I say, I'm not homophobic. I don't have anything against the LGBTQ plus community. Sorry if I've missed anything out there. But my opinion is, transgender women shouldn't participate in women's sport. I don't think that's fair on women. Now, someone will have an argument out there, yeah, but that's their choice and that's not fair because they want to play sports. Well, I'm sorry. If that is their choice, you have to make the choice that you don't want to play sport no more. In my opinion, or at a high level, because I just don't think it's fair. How can you participate in sports as a bloke and then all of a sudden, bosh, well, I'm not winning anything here and I'm not comfortable as a man, so let me transition there and hold on a minute, I'm winning gold medals in everything that I do. That's just not fair. And that's as simple as it has to be. There doesn't need to be all this shite that's attached with it, where there's several different arguments why it should happen, why it shouldn't happen. Like, even in the workplace, the best person gets the job. It don't matter whether what your sexual orientation is, what your race is, what your gender is. The best person should get the job. And there are cases where you hear that the people in big industries need to increase their quota of people of colour in the workplace. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that yet, me being mixed race. Like, I don't even know what the right connotation for that is now. But you hear it all the time, and it's just, relax. If you're good enough to get the job, you need to put a case forward that you are the best person for that job. That's my honest opinion. Like, you can honestly wind yourself up for days and days and days about trying to be part of this woke society where nothing good comes from it. Nothing good comes from it. All you're doing is creating rows between one set of people and another set of people, and creating an even bigger disparity and almost a problem. Because then there will lead to a lot of frustration around what people are doing for no reason. If you let everyone just get on with it and stay in their lane, there's no problems, there's less headaches. So the message today is care less, 100%. That's what I want you to take from this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed that little rant, and have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you in the next one.